Cool. If you're ready, we'll jump into it.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. All right. Welcome back to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quat, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Paige Mackenzie. How's it going today?
It is going fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Sorry about the little bit of a mix up this morning. I'm not used to having to send the meeting ID over, but
It's definitely on my end just because I'm terrible with technology. So it's definitely on my end.
oh, it's all good. But excited to have you on. I've been following you for a bit now and just kind of listening to your music as you release. And once we finally connected and found a time that worked for both of us to get this laid out, I was really excited. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you here a bit.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm excited. And today was the perfect day because it's just a big old snow day. So
Right, right. I've been seeing all those photos like popping up. Like I saw, like I woke up at like 6 o'clock this morning because I knew even though our weather isn't quite that bad, I work for a TV station, so I knew I was going to be working to some degree today. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to get up at 6 and just kind of treat it like a normal day or whatever. And then I just start seeing all these photos roll in, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm not going to complain about anything over here. So
it's wild. And I posted something today. I just love watching people who are like any like state in the South, they get snow.
yeah,
We don't have any snow gear. So we just kind of like, I've been watching everyone's outfits. It's like 16 pairs of like pants and
yeah,
hoodies and blankets and towels. And it's just, I'm like, good job, everyone. You
yeah,
make do with what you got. And they're all
right.
sledding out there and stuff. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I grew up in the North, so I grew up in Chicago. So I'm like all that weather, it's like I know how to dress for it, but I've also not lived in Chicago in like 15 years. So it's like it, I've kind of forgotten a little bit like how cold it can get. So
it's wild. But
yeah,
yeah, I saw the snow for like 5 minutes and I was like, I will be inside all day.
right. I stepped outside for like two and I was like, yep, I'm not coming back out. So it's all good here. So, so how long have you been in Nashville at this point?
So I moved to Nashville almost 7 years ago, but I am originally from Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay,
Um, but yeah, I just hit the 7 year mark, which is absolutely wild to me.
nice. So you've seen Nashville go through a massive growth spurt then.
All the time, it's every single year. The skyline changes, but and it's the same thing when I go home to Charleston because it's just as much growing as it is here. So I go home and it's different. I come back, it's different, but it's
Yeah,
just the way it goes.
fair enough, fair enough. So what was it like growing up in Charleston for you?
It was honestly growing up in Charleston was probably the best thing my mom ever did was make us move there because my family's from Michigan and Ohio. So we were up north for like 4 years when I was younger. And my
Right.
mom was like, we're going down to the beach. And I got to grow up literally surfing and being a beach bum my entire life. So I couldn't have asked for more.
Fair, fair, fair. It's that's quite the culture shock because in that Midwest area, it's like, well, I mean, is Ohio even considered the Midwest at this point? I don't.
We were more in Detroit, so that's just in
Yeah,
the north anyways, but
yeah,
it was wild because up north when you say yes ma'am and no ma'am, it's very sassy, it's
yeah,
rude.
yeah,
And so when growing up in South Carolina and we go home to see family and be like, yes ma'am, and they'd be like, excuse you, who are you
yeah,
sassing? And I'm like, either way I'm getting yelled at if I don't say it or I do say it. So that was
yeah.
that was one of the bigger things.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I had to learn. So after I left, I pretty much moved south of Nashville and I haven't been back since. And it's like, so that was a huge like a culture shock where it's like learning how what people think is rude and like what proper manners are in the South. And it's like, oh, okay. And but it didn't take that long for me to kind of pick up on it. It wasn't that big of a thing. But now when I go home to Chicago, it's that same thing where it's like, oh, somebody's being a little sassy over there, aren't they? So,
All right, all right.
right. And then you have the whole pop versus soda debate. And it's like, I'm not even getting in on that one because I don't care enough. So,
I don't know. I guess I just call it what it is. If I want a
yeah,
Sprite, I want a Sprite.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So fair enough, fair enough. So growing up in Charleston, or yeah, growing up in Charleston, who? introduced you to music? Was that something that your family just kind of always did, or where's that kind of come into play?
It's it's odd because no one in my family really does music.
Mm,
But my dad was always, he loves to be the center of attention in like the best way. So he loves karaoke. He loves just like entertaining anyone or any like in any event. And I think
yeah,
I just got it from him. But the majority of growing up, I was extremely shy. I don't think I did any performances until maybe my sophomore or junior year of high school because I had terrible stage fright.
right.
So I think I did a talent show junior year and I sat on a stool and I sang the wreckers. And I don't think my eyes were open. I think I was looking down the entire time. And that was like the first time I ever did any sort
Yeah,
of performance. And it took me a long time to not be afraid to get on stage. But, you know, my parents, they saw something in me. My mom would make me go to karaoke and we would, you know, sing in the basement and things like that. So they saw something that I didn't see when I was
mm,
younger. And but now here I am and
sure,
I love being on the stage.
sure. Was there like a turning point for you to kind of get over that stage fright, or did it just kind of gradually go away?
It just slowly did go away, but I got more and more involved in the talent shows. I was in the drama club. We did musical theater. Then I had a girlfriend from high school. When we all graduated, we got together and started singing out at bars. So we would just book any show we could. And it was, oh, we look back at the videos now
Yeah,
and like you know how a lot of people use like their iPhones on the
yeah,
stand. We had full on like printed out pieces of paper in like a catalog, like sitting in front of us
yeah,
while we performed. It was just, but I mean, it's the step we had to take, and then technology evolved, and it got, you know, where you could use your
yeah.
iPhone. But we just made each other sing and do those things, and soon enough, I was like, I'm going to Nashville.
Nice, nice, nice. I think for me, state because like you, I had stage fright. Anytime I got called, like at a like a not a show, but like for like a pep rally at school or something to do with school, and I'd get up in front of people to give a speech. I was always so nervous, and then it took me until this past summer to finally realize, like, oh, there's nothing to be afraid of. Like, I did a had a situation where I could do the podcast live in front of a crowd, and I was so worried about like, man, everybody's going to judge me. Like all those fears kind of started rolling in. And then I got up there and everybody was so supportive. And I'm like,
I
there's
love
nothing
that.
to be afraid up here. It's just, that's all, it was just kind of all up here. And so
Yeah.
I went up there and it was like cool and chill. And yeah, it was fun. So
It's wild, like how you said it, sometimes it just clicks because as I get older, I mean, to put it as simple as possible, I just don't care anymore.
right,
I
right, right.
have like I told myself this year I'm gonna post whatever I want. I'm gonna record any kind of music. I primarily fall under the country genre, but
Yeah,
I have a new single coming out that definitely leads like more poppy. And
yeah,
I just this is the time where I'm just like, who cares? Like,
right.
who cares if someone doesn't like me? I don't. What I have
Yeah,
nothing to lose.
yeah. It's one of those things where I think now the genre, like the whole genre thing is so interesting because like the only thing that classifies genres anymore is like what playlist you're going to get put on, and even then that's not like a permanent label for you because it's just kind of like, oh hey, this song sounds like 70s disco, so let's put you on the disco, like whatever it is.
Right.
Whereas like I feel like in the past it was like you were taking up shelf space, we had to put you somewhere.
Yeah, it's wild, and I'm okay without being put under a genre. I write so much. It's what I do here. I came here to write
Yeah,
music, and whether it be my music that makes it, or if I write for somebody else who makes it, you know, that would be incredible. But I write so many different types of songs that just why would I put myself in one box?
yeah, for sure. Has Nashville changed you as a writer?
Oh, 100%. One, because when I moved to Nashville, you know, you come from a small town, you're like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go, you know, I'm the best. I'm gonna go
yeah,
rock Nashville's
yeah,
world.
right,
And I was so quickly humbled when I thought I had the best songs. And then I came here and I listened to everybody else. I was
yeah,
like, no, you're not nearly as good as these guys. And I
yeah,
took that as surround myself with people who are better than me, who are going to teach me, who are going to show me what I can and cannot do. Like it was humbling, but it was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
And the songwriter I was 7 years ago versus the one now, completely different.
Yeah. Nice. It goes back to that old saying, or that saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yep,
And
exactly.
I think Nashville is like that perfect place to kind of put musicians in different situations to where they're like, okay, I'm not the best, like I'm a good songwriter, but I'm not the best guitar player, or I'm not the best guitar player, but I'm a good, like whatever it is. And it helps sharpen their skills because like iron sharpens iron. And I kind of feel like that's what Nashville is at this point, is you're getting all the best musicians are already there, and then you get everybody else that's just kind of coming in because Nashville's that place that everybody wants to be if you're a musician. So it's just kind of like a really cool thing going on there.
Yeah, and it's just you have to stay, humble. There's always going to be someone who's better than you, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Uh, and if you think you're the best, calm down.
Right, right, right. It's there's always somebody better than you, and I 100% agree with that, and just kind of keep that in mind every time I go somewhere. So
You want to continue to learn. Like, who doesn't want to keep getting better at what they do? You want to just
yeah,
have those people who are going to help you grow. There's incredible people here, and everyone is so kind. Like,
yeah,
I think people are afraid to move to Nashville. They shouldn't, because everyone here wants to help you,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
bizarre because a lot of places it's not like that. But here,
yeah.
everyone's like, yeah, what can I do for you?
Right. It's that I've had that internal struggle with myself, and it's not so much that I'm afraid to move to Nashville. It's I'm afraid to make that financial commitment because I know what Nashville costs right now. Like
Yep.
I'm very well aware. I've been looking on Zillow and apartments.com for the last year and a half, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's a little bit of that's like nerve-wracking right there.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I got to find a job. I can't find a job. Most people aren't even talking to me because I'm not there. And it's like, oh, okay. So
There's
yeah,
so many, like, it's this or that, this or that.
yeah,
This is Winston, by the way. He's a lot.
yeah. It, oh, I love dots or dachshunds. So yeah, those are.
He's only one, so he has the energy of like a million little toddlers.
Hey, it's all good. It's all he's not barking, so we're in a good spot. Um, so you'd mentioned that like when you originally moved to Nashville, you were like you're gonna go. You had a lot of confidence, is what we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Where did was there like a moment that you got humbled, or that you realized that you needed to come in with a different energy?
I think it was just one, I needed like a reality check just
Mhm.
because, I came in expecting these things. I came in expecting everybody to want my music. I was just going to get signed, and I was, people were just going to love
Yeah,
everything I did. And then I went out and saw a bunch of writers' rounds, and I was in awe and just like, holy cow, these writers are incredible. And I was like, there's work to do. You
yeah,
just get to it. Like, I could sit here and be discouraged and go home, or I can get better. And
right.
every day I try to get better, and continue to take guitar lessons and vocal lessons. Like, there's always room to be better. And soon enough you find like your group of people, which is really awesome, and you help each other grow. And yeah, no, it was just seeing people that I looked up to and was like, I want to be them when I grow up.
Yeah, fair, fair, fair. So you moved to Nashville. Were you recording music at that time, or where were you kind of at in your musical career when you moved to Nashville?
Yeah, so right before I came to Nashville, I recorded an EP when I was
Mm,
in Charleston, and I was like good planning on
yeah,
kind of coasting on that for a while.
yeah,
And then I ended up working for a management company, which was not the plan, but it was really cool because I met people in the industry and I learned a ton about like releases and things like
yeah,
that. So I did that for about a year, and then COVID took out like 2 years. So kind of just ignore those 2 years of
yeah,
just sitting in the house. And then it was just like trying to keep up with social media. It went into recording singles. So I got rid of that EP, started over, and now it's just been singles ever since then, which it's just kind of the way it goes now. Nobody, unless you're with a major label, it's like no one's
Yeah.
really consuming full albums from smaller artists. So
Fair. I guess I'm kind of the exception to the rule. I love full albums,
me too.
especially when they're like pressed on when an artist can make that commitment to press it on vinyl.
Hmm.
That's like the peak of music consumption for me. It's like I love it so much, and like because it's like a standalone piece of art that's just kind of I don't know, but
It's
that
beautiful.
yeah, there you go. That's the word I was looking for. So. Um, so that original EP, has there been ever been any thought of like going back to that, or is it just like that's in the past? Let's move forward.
I think it's just in the past,
Mhm.
and it was a great EP for the how old I was at that
Yeah,
point and where I was in my career. My mom calls me all the time and she's like, "Can you just at least there's this song called Stay." A friend of
yeah,
mine, Taylor, and my mom
yeah,
love that song, and they're always messaging me. They're like, "Why don't you just re-record it and re-release it?" And I'm just like, that was a piece of the past, and I love that music, and I still have those recordings,
yeah,
but it's just I wanted a fresh start in
yeah.
Nashville too. Like once I was like, oh, time to get to work, I was like, let's start fresh.
Right.
And I did a name change right before. So my real last name is Fortuna.
Hmm.
But when I moved here, I switched it to Mackenzie just because Fortuna didn't really roll off the tongue for a lot of
Fair.
people.
Fair.
So I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Let's just start over. New artists. Let's do this. We're coming to Nashville. Let's go.
Fair. And Mackenzie, less people or more people are less likely to mispronounce that. Where Fortuna, I'm sure you get all the crazy
Oh,
explanation
yeah.
or what same as I do. You know, you get all the crazy last names, and it's like, ah, okay, fine, fair, yeah,
Let me help you guys. I'll just go with
yeah,
my middle name. It's fine.
fair. It's I've often thought about that, but it's like I like my last name so much that it's just kind of like it's almost become a running joke at this point where it's just like, yeah, so
Well, it's like, so my first name is Paige, but I don't have an
yeah,
I in it. So
yeah,
there's another famous TikToker who's Paige Mackenzie, but she's like a 16-year-old that dances on
yeah,
TikTok.
yeah.
And I'm like, I promise that's not me. I cannot dance. I'm Paige without an I.
Page no I got it.
Paige, no I.
Fair. Um, so let's jump into the new single that's dropping on the 19th, which is Friday? Yeah, Friday.
Yep.
I was like, wait a minute, what day is it? I've been
Does
working
anyone
nonstop,
know?
right? So it's dropping on Friday. What's the story? What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so She's Gonna Kill Me. I wrote that with some fantastic songwriters in town, Emily Artigo and Lando. Uh, so Emily is one of my best friends. We write together often, and we were in the car one day, and you know how like Apple CarPlay it'll show like a text message
Yeah.
that pops up.
Yep.
Well, I was in the car with Emily, and all of a sudden she gets a ding on her phone, and it's a text message from her ex-girlfriend, and I'm like, why are you talking to her? What are you doing, silly
Yeah.
goose? And so that day we had a writing session with Lando, and I walked in and I was like, guys, I'm feeling something funky. I want something vibey. I don't want to
Yeah.
write a sad country song today. Like, let's do this. So Lando
Yeah.
is an incredible producer, just started messing around with some stuff on his computer. And then Emily is like, well, I have this idea, and it's called She's Gonna Kill Me. And it's about your best friend wanting to kill you for going back to your ex-boyfriend or
Yeah.
ex-girlfriend. And I was like, I wonder where you got that idea from. So we ran with it, and Lando did such a good job on the demo
Yeah.
that I was like, I have to put this song out. And the last few songs I put out, I'm known for writing sad country songs. So my dad called me one day. He's like, come on, you got to put something happy, like upbeat. We want to dance. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. But once I got the demo back from Lando, I was like, yep, this is the song I want to put out. And
Fair.
it's probably one of the projects that I've had the most fun on. We've already done a music video. The album
Yep.
artwork was so fun to film, recording it, just everything was so seamless and exciting that it made me want to continue to put music out, because you know, you lose some momentum and it gets a little hard here in town. And I was like, no, this is why I'm doing it. Like, I have this is the song that like kept me going. So I'm very excited about it.
Awesome. I was going to ask about the music video because I'd been watching some of your music videos over the last couple of weeks, and I, as much as I understand how expensive it is to do music videos and the, I don't want to say little return that you get from it because I
Mhm.
definitely do feel like there's benefits to music videos if you know how to build them out, if you know how to utilize them.
Mhm.
But obviously, that's such a financial commitment for any musician, honestly. But I was gonna ask if you were doing a music video for this one. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We already so Thomas O'Brien, who was actually my producer back in Charleston, who did my first
nice.
EP, and then he was my drummer for the last 10 years. And then he moved to Nashville not too long ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's just like the jack of all trades. He does music videos, producing, photography. Like if you need something, Thomas can do it. And so he did my last 2, 3 music videos
Hmm.
now. And yeah, this one he just absolutely killed it. It's funny. I wanted it to be, even if you don't like the song, you'll just enjoy the music video because it's funny. It's my best friends in it, and it's all around Nashville, and I just wanted people to enjoy it even if they're not like crazy about the song.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. I can't wait to check it out. I'll have to add it to my list of music video reviews. I'm in the process of starting a new YouTube series.
Oh,
Well, I basically right now it's just straight up reacting to independent music videos.
love
But
it.
the plan in the next 60 to 90 days is to be very reminiscent of like the old Siskel and Ebert like movie reviews and just kind of be a very funny, staunch like music video purist, like just kind of make a character, but still make the reviews kind of entertaining and like
Yeah,
thought provoking. And so I'm kind
I
of
love that.
working that all out in my head right now.
I
So
love that so much.
yeah, it was one of those things because I get everybody kind of sending me music videos. I get music videos more than I get Spotify links, which is very funny, by the way. But I do enjoy it, and it's like I've always been sitting there like I'm not quite sure what to do with these, and then one day I just like reacted to one, and it was like, okay, that was fun. Let's do that again, and I'm kind of just getting the reps in right now to make sure that people don't get pissed off if I say something like, oh hey, that shot was kind of like just kind of figuring out
Hmm.
what to critique or whatnot. So,
Right.
um, but yeah, that's the plan.
I love that. Just you just figure it out as you go. I feel like that's what everyone's doing right now
Yeah,
with everything in social media. We're all just kind of like throw it all out there and
right, right,
hopefully
right.
something sticks.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan right now. Like just kind of. I got the YouTube channel. We're growing, and it's like okay, got the podcast, got like React stuff, got shorts.
I love it.
Now let's do like a funny series, so to speak. So yeah,
Yeah, I love it.
awesome. So with this new song, you said that you'd mentioned that this falls a little bit more poppy.
Hmm.
Were you have you been listening to more pop music recently, or is that just kind of where it fell?
Yeah, no, I've just always been a huge fan of pop music. I grew up, my girl was Christina Aguilera. I grew up with Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney. So that's always been sort of an influence in my world. And I've always loved like funky, bluesy, like anything groovy. And that's kind of what we did. We definitely like so Zachary Mano, he's the producer of this song, he's fantastic. I went in and I said, I love like the tones of John Mayer's guitar where he gets like really funky.
Yeah.
I want there's like I can't remember what song it was, but I was like, I just want this vibe where it's just like, I don't know if you have you ever heard John Mayer's album, the Sob Rock album?
No, I haven't. No.
You should definitely check it out and you'll kind
Yeah.
of understand what I'm trying to go off of. But I
Yeah.
just wanted something to like, I don't know, the shoulder dance. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I got you. I've heard it.
So he did a great job. We went in there and it was just fun. It's always amazing when your producer is having just as much fun as you, which I think that's so
Yeah.
important when you go
Yep.
in choosing who's going to do your music. And Zach
Yep.
was just like, this is the most fun I've had. We like wanted 80s rock in there. Like
Yeah.
it's it's literally just a pot of everything. And
Right.
there's slide in there, there's banjo, like there's everything's in there. And we're just like, screw it, let's put everything in, let's go, let's have fun.
Yeah. That's something that I've recently stumbled across is with music, it's not so much about always being perfect. It's
Hmm.
about the feeling and the vibe and the mental state that the song puts you in. And if everybody's having a good time, that's the kind of music I want to listen to. Like when we first started doing live and amplified, it was like, oh, we were looking for good musicians, which was a good foundation to kind of start on because when you're dealing with independent musicians, you want a certain level of skill and technique and stuff of that nature. But just
Hmm.
recently, it's like I'll be jamming a song on my way to work, and I'll send it to my buddy. He's like, or my business partner, he's like, "Oh, that's an interesting song," just like, and it's like we're kind of on two different wavelengths right now. I'm kind of working them to be like, "Hey, you listen to like Tool, Primus, and stuff like that." So, like, let's find a happy medium of, yeah. So,
Yeah, I love
yeah,
that though. I remember in college I took a class, some music class, and one of the things that I always stick with is like, people will never know new if you don't show them new.
yeah,
So we can sit here and I can say, oh, well, I want to write for the radio. Well, by the
yep,
time the song makes it to radio, there's something else coming. So I always try to tell people, if they're like, if you have any advice, I just say, stop
mhm,
writing for what you think, write what you want. And if it's different and it's unique, there's
yeah,
going to be a home for it. You just got to find the right person who's going to support it. Because
yep,
by the time you write for radio, it's already on to the next thing.
yep. It's one of those things where I think we were trying to find musicians that were actually musicians and not going into the studio relying so heavily on auto tune and voice synthesizers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then it just kind of got to a point where it's like, yes, that's all well and good, and we need to reward actual, or not actual musician, but like talented musicians. But if the song puts you in a special place or makes you feel a certain way, we shouldn't necessarily shun that either. So,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm also just, my biggest thing too is, if you don't like the song, you don't have to listen to it. Nobody's making you.
fair, fair, fair. So, as you kind of come up to the release of the song, you're right now as we're recording this, 4 days away. You got the music video. What's kind of running through your mind right now?
Just pump out content because that's what it feels like I'm
Fair.
supposed to do. No, I'm very excited because I'm having a release show here in Nashville for the song the Thursday before. And
Hmm.
I'm just excited to, it's a writer's round for 3 hours, and then the people I wrote the song with, we're doing a full band showcase. And
Nice.
I'm just really looking forward to celebrating my friends and the people who have gotten me where I am. And the 3 writers rounds, I picked people that I believe in and I love. And it's just exciting. I don't want to stress because I
Yeah.
can worry about pre-saves, I can worry about numbers, but at the end of the day, the song's coming out and I just want to celebrate it with all my friends. And that's what we're
Yeah.
doing on Thursday. And I'm excited for people to see all those talented artists if the snow goes away.
Now, I was going to say, assuming that there's not a foot of snow sitting on the ground.
I'm
So,
like, and then I'll have to do a live feed or something, which would be fine. But I'm like, snow, let's go, get away.
right now, did you do a lot of like the live streaming stuff during the pandemic? Was that something that you explored or?
Yeah, so I had a song I actually it's not unfortunate. It worked out the way it was supposed to, but I recorded a song and it happened to fall right when everything got shut down.
Mhm.
So we had a little COVID song release, and it was fun. We just went live, and like I said, everyone's so supportive. Everyone chimed in. We were all, obviously stir crazy, so there was a lot of
Yeah.
engagement. And yeah, I think, and everybody was streaming. That was the only way that most of us could make any money. So it was just every day we kind of all supported one another. And
Yeah.
I think every single day, like 3 times a day, one of my friends was going live and
Yeah.
things. So
My biggest regret during that was that I was streaming on Facebook or that I was streaming on Facebook and not like on Twitch or something.
oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it because at the time I didn't know Twitch did like podcasts and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, we'll just stream on Facebook because that's where our crowd is. And then like after 2 years of doing this and the pandemic kind of starts subsiding, I had somebody I had on the podcast was like, "Hey, how come you aren't streaming on like Twitch or something?" And I'm like, "Wait, I thought Twitch was like gaming and stuff like that." And they're like, "No, no, 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 no." And they
It's funny
showed
you
me,
say that.
and I'm like, "Dang it. Imagine where I'd be right now if I started this 2 years ago over on Twitch." So,
Right. I started streaming on Twitch during
yeah,
COVID, but for gaming.
yeah,
So I think everybody was doing it. So it was like slightly oversaturated, but
right.
you know,
So, what kind of games do you play? You said you were playing video games earlier, so
yeah. So that's my escape, video games. That's
yeah,
how I detach from everything.
fair.
I'm a big COD player, Call of
Hmm.
Duty,
Fair.
and Fortnite. Currently, I'm playing the new Harry Potter game because it's so good.
Nice.
But I played Call of Duty for a long time, and
Hmm.
that was my like start to the gaming world. So I love it.
Now, what was the first Call of Duty game that you jumped in on?
What was the one that came out during COVID?
Uh, let's
Was it not,
see.
not Modern Warfare? Is it Modern
It
Warfare?
was it Advanced Warfare?
Maybe. At my ex at the time,
Yeah,
he's the one who got me into it. I can't remember, but now I play Modern Warfare 2,
yeah,
and then Fortnite just updates all the time, and
yeah.
then if I have no one to play with, Harry Potter.
Fair, fair, fair. I need to get back into video games. Like I was huge in it all growing up, and then in college we'd play Call of Duty, and this was like Call of Duty, the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And, so this was like 2010, that
Yeah.
ballpark. And when I moved out to New Mexico, I didn't have the best internet. So I was just like, yeah, I'm going to sell my PlayStation because my internet goes out all the time. So,
Hmm.
one of those things. And then ever since like 2015, I've just not had a console. And like I went and bought a PS2 just for giggles, and I'll play that every once in a while. But the graphics are so bad. It's just kind of, and the games are so easy right now. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't,
I had to get the new Xbox. I was sitting on the Xbox One for a while, and I have a
yeah,
PC, but
yeah,
like right now with the snow day, I just have it all set up in my living room, and
yeah,
I had to bite the bullet and just get that new Xbox, and it's so good.
yeah. And I'm because originally during the pandemic, I was gonna buy a PS5, but they were so freaking hard to find. And everybody's like, oh, just go buy a PS4, you'll be fine. And I'm like, yeah, but the PS4 is already out of date. I'm not gonna go pay $400 for a PS4 when I could pay
Right.
$500 and get a PS5. And then it never happened. And I was just like, okay, I'm good with it. So,
It's everybody got into gaming, so even when we were setting up like streaming,
yeah,
pieces for the streaming were like ridiculously priced, like cables
yep,
and cards and things like that were so overpriced because everybody was doing it.
yep,
So it took a long time to build up the streaming, and then I've just been so busy with music that I have not streamed in a long time, but I want to get back into it.
nice. Streaming's fun, especially once you get that community kind of built, and then I'm sure it's completely different on the gaming side of things, but
They
with the
want consistency too. Like it's just like, with
yeah,
podcasts and everything, you have to be consistent or people are
yeah,
like, man.
yeah, I'm good. So, um, so kind of looking forward, how often are you playing live shows right now? Obviously, I'm assuming you're not playing tonight or anything because like a
No, no.
first,
Um, I play, I have a couple consistent gigs here in Nashville. So like every Sunday.
hmm
But mostly I try to focus on the writers rounds just because it's all original music.
hmm
Uh, and then hopefully I'll get back into some traveling, but I did a lot of independent traveling and booking for myself for so long that it kind of exhausted me.
fair,
So I'm a little picky when it comes to shows outside of the state, but I think I'm going to try a little bit this year, but not nearly. I think I did like 180 self-booked like a couple years
mm,
ago, and I was just like, I need a nap. I
right?
need a nap for a while.
But do you like traveling like that, jumping in the car and just kind of was it by yourself or did you have like your band, like a band with you or what?
Yeah, we had the whole band, just my car with the trailer on the
Mm,
back. We travel. I'm very grateful for those opportunities, and it's amazing. But I definitely look forward to the day when I'm on a tour bus and I
Right.
can sleep in bunk, and I have people helping me load in
Yeah.
gear, and I don't have to handle the booking. It's a lot for one person,
Right.
and I definitely am grateful for the
Right.
stories I can tell, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready for a
Yeah.
tour bus.
Fair. 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 I'm kind of at the mindset of if I ever had the opportunity to just kind of sell everything off and just go live in my car and do the podcast on the road for 6 months, I'd jump at that opportunity just to say I did it. But I have a feeling after 6 months, it'd be like, okay, where am I moving? Because this thought of not having a place to go to if stuff starts to go south is not ideal. So,
But that does sound like a heck of a journey, so you should think about it.
yeah. Oh, we were at the tail end of last year. They were there. My company was doing some downsizing, and there was talks about our entire department getting laid off. And I was like, well, if I get laid off, that's just the note that I need to, hey, sell everything, jump in the car, and go. Like, go do your thing.
Yeah,
You'll have enough money to live for 6 months or whatever. So just go do it. You
I
know.
love it. Well, we'll see. You never know.
Right. 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 Um, so outside of music, obviously you got video games and whatnot as kind of like a stress reliever, but what else do you like to do in Nashville? Yeah.
So in Nashville, I'm like, what do I do? I really just, if I'm not doing music, I'm at home reading.
Fair.
I'm a big bookworm. Couple things in Nashville. I like seeing all the new restaurants develop here, and I'm a big foodie. Which
Mm,
in Charleston, there's a couple really well-known chefs down there, and they're actually bringing a lot of restaurants here, which
hmm
is really cool. So I
Nice.
just try to get out and try those when I can, when I have money. You know what I mean?
Fair.
But if I'm not doing that, I'm at home reading. Literally, I have like 6 books in front of me right now.
Sweet. What's your favorite hidden gem restaurant in Nashville?
Ooh.
And
Ooh, ooh.
you understand when I say hidden gem, like not like on the strip or something.
Right. No,
Yeah.
no. Oh gosh. Well, it's sad. Well, I actually think they're coming back, but
hmm
what is it called? It starts with an A. It's a mean three. Oh my gosh. I can't remember what it's called. Arthur's author. I cannot. Now I have to Google it. I can't remember, but it's a meat and three, and it's right around the
Yeah.
corner from my house. They got shut down for a while, but I think
hmm
I read somewhere that they're coming back.
Nice.
So that would be nice. Now it's gonna drive me crazy. It starts with an A, and an incredible, incredible, incredible. And then for hot chicken, I'm a big party fowl girl. Like everybody loves Hattie B's, but I think
Yeah.
party fowl is like the superior hot chicken here.
Fair, fair, fair. My buddy lived in Nashville for a little bit, and the first time I went down to visit, I was like, "Hey, man, I was in, I rented an Airbnb in Antioch, and I was just kind of like that, which that's a whole funny story in and of itself, but we could talk about that one offline. Um, and so I texted him. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm in Nashville for like a night. Where's a good place to go eat? Because I'm hungry. I haven't eaten yet." a I think he was back up north or something with visiting his family. He's like, "Oh, go to Hattie B's." And I go to Hattie B's and there's like a line around the building. And I'm like, okay, I'm not waiting in line for hot chicken. I'm like, I don't do spicy foods all that much anyways. So I'm just not gonna wait. And then um there was like a McDonald's or something down the street. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to McDonald's, you know? So
That's fair. They're always busy. It's busy all the time, and I get it. It's really good. I'm just party foul through and through.
fair, fair, fair. It's and then I found out that y'all have like what is it, Santa's pub or something? Like a
Yes, I literally live right around the corner from there, and that is a hoot. If you've never
nice.
been, you have to go next time.
Yes, I'll be so I'll be in Nashville the end of February. I'm supposed to be going to CRS.
Yeah,
It's so I'm gonna be there the end of February, and it's like I'm trying to plan the trip out because it's like I've got so many people that I've met virtually that are like, "Hey, let me know when you're here. I'm gonna take you here, here, and everywhere."
I
And it's like,
bet.
oh man, it's like I'm gonna have to book like a month to stay in Nashville. So
But see, it's like that. Everybody
Yeah,
wants to like get to know you and hang out and help. And I love Nashville.
yeah, yeah. Nashville is really cool. I'm ashamed to say it's been actually, oh wow, today is 4 years since I've been to Nashville.
Well, it's time then. It's time
Because
for you to come home.
I I went the middle of January 2020.
Yep.
Wow, I just realized that. I feel so bad now.
Well, you're almost here, so it's okay.
Right, right. So for anybody that wants to check out your music and all that
Mhm.
fun stuff, where's the best place to find you? Socials, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so almost all of my social media handles are at Paige Mackenzie Music, Paige without an I, Mackenzie music.
Mhm.
All my socials, Instagram,
Yeah.
YouTube, TikTok, all those things.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Paige, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me. It's been an absolute blast and really appreciate you. And hopefully, when I come out the end of February, we'll get a chance to sit down and hang out and all that fun
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Well, thank you so much. I would love that.
yeah, absolutely. Once again, thank you so much for everyone for tuning in, and we will catch you all later. Stop recording. It's like, where's my button?